Hello everyone, and welcome to this masterclass on breaking down common myths about retirement. We will be revealing 5 powerful truths that you can use today to make your retirement far more fulfilling than what you might think is possible right now. I am Andrea Wynn, and I will be your host today. I'm glad you made it here on time, and I respect your time. So with your permission, we're just going to dive in and get going. Sound good? Great. So who is this masterclass specifically for? Look, if you have worked as a leader and are now retired, the common thread here is you're in retirement, a phase of life that can have an unsettling amount of uncertainty. And at the same time, you know that you have a lot of inner resource. You are intelligent, spiritual, and courageous, to name a few of your core strengths. This courage is connected with the next one. You love getting to know yourself, understanding what makes you tick, because you know that the better you know yourself, the more of yourself you can bring to living your life with integrity. So you also want to get all the juice from your retirement years. So if that's you, then this is for you. This is for you if you want something more than the cookie-cutter ideas about retirement that society promotes, and instead you want to create a retirement life that is rich with your own personal meaning. Also, you don't want to fall into the isolation that we see far too many elderly people living. Instead, you want to define your life in ways that will lead to your being socially connected throughout your old age. You also know that you don't want to become a distant, rigid, or bitter person in old age. You realize that to do that, you need to slow down and open your ability to be more tender and kind in how you connect with yourself and other people. And of course, none of us wants to arrive at the end of life with a feeling of regrets. So it's important to you to know that you are indeed taking the right steps to fulfill your life's calling. Now, if that's you, then you are in the right place. Now look, I only have about 60 minutes to spend with you today, and I have a lot to share with you that's going to help you create a meaningful retirement that you will love. And I hope to be able to get it all in. So we're going to move fast, and by the way, if you want a copy of the slides for this presentation, I will tell you how to get them at the end. That way you are free to completely focus on what we're covering today, and then you'll be able to refer back to it as you begin to implement what you learn here. Because by the time we're done with this masterclass, you're going to discover how to shift out of the old paradigm of retirement and see there can be a very different way to approach this important time of your life. You'll also discover how to open up the golden quality of your golden years so that you are truly harvesting all that is possible from this precious time. You will see how to view retirement as an invaluable resource of time beyond what you may be imagining. That's so you can make the best of this time instead of missing important opportunities. You will discover how to leave a deeply meaningful legacy for those who will come after you, because the fact is that you have a lot to offer to the young people of today who are struggling. And you'll see how to enrich your definition of what it means to play, so you can enjoy your retirement more and actually create a vibrant sense of fun. If you want to experience an immediate difference in your retirement, all you need to do after this class is take action on any one of the essential truths you'll learn about today. And if you apply all 5, look out world. Seriously. I really mean that. Over the past few years, I have watched people I care about move into retirement. I've noticed a pattern of challenges that most of them face, so perhaps you can relate to one or more of these yourself. Are you feeling a bit bored, easily distracted, or uncertain about your future, and you're not sure what to do about it? Do you find yourself ruminating on your glory days because a part of you may have bought into society's notion that your best years are behind you? But at the same time, there's a little voice inside that just wishes that you had a simple and inspiring way to create a new chapter of your life story in retirement. Do you wish you didn't have that tightness in your chest every time you sense you may be lacking personal fulfillment, meaning, and contribution? Maybe you're afraid sometimes that you're just coasting through life. Deep down, do you feel something is missing in your life, even though you can't quite put a finger on it? Do you wake up wondering or worrying how you're going to fill your day? Well, what if I were to tell you that none of these are the real problem? Now, there's an interesting phenomenon, you may have noticed it as I have, that when you listen to what society says about retirement, it's kind of two-dimensional, like a cartoon drawing. It does not feel like the vibrant, robust masterpiece painting of retirement that someone who has had an engaged career as a leader wants to move into. In fact, I recently read about a study of 200 people who were offered early retirement, but most declined because they didn't have an inspiring vision of retirement to live into. They were offered an opportunity you'd think most people would love to have, but because they had bought into the common myths of retirement and they had no idea of what they would do with themselves, they defaulted to the comfort of the known, continuing to do the same old thing instead of taking advantage of what could have been the most amazing time and opportunity of their lives. The cartoon caricature that society gives tells us that retirement is a time of decline, a limbo between your productive work years and death, and that fulfillment looks like traveling the world, spending more time sitting in your living room chair, perhaps reading, and playing more golf. I mean, have you ever asked yourself, why is golf the most frequently depicted method for play and retirement? Well, travel, reading, and golf, these are things that may or may not have felt like luxuries during your working years. One thing is for certain. In society's simple view, retirement is about doing the things that society says retired people do as your reward for working so hard during your career years. But is that really a fulfilling retirement? Is it really a just reward for your many years of service? And if not, then what's a more fulfilling picture? What could a masterpiece retirement look like? Well, I can tell you from experience because I know a lot of people who have dreamed out of the box and created something far beyond what society says is possible. And in fact, I am one of those people, but I sure wasn't always. So I can tell you that anyone with strength, intelligence, and courage can create a retirement that is radically different from the two-dimensional picture that society paints. Okay, so here's the good news. The solution is a new paradigm called Retirement Golden Years Legacy Play. It dispels the culturally defined retirement myths, so you'll leave here today with a clear vision of what you need to do to define your own personally fulfilling retirement. And maybe most importantly, you'll see how to reclaim one of the most precious things any of us have: your longevity, by increasing your vitality. Okay, so at this point you may be asking, what is this Retirement Golden Years Legacy Play? Retirement Golden Years Legacy Play is a new paradigm that unleashes your ability to design your golden years in a way that fulfills your life purpose with grace, ease, and a sense of clarity that may have been missing up until now. After today, you will be in possession of this paradigm shift. The only question will be whether you apply what you discover and reap the rewards, or just settle with the way that things have been. Either way, at least you'll know that you could do something different, and that creating a truly vibrant and fulfilling retirement is something you really can do if that's something that you truly want. Okay, so before we dive into Retirement Golden Years Legacy Play, you might be wondering, who is this woman and why should I listen to her? And that's a fair question, and I'd be asking that myself if I were you, because I'd want to know that I'm getting advice from someone who's actually been there and done it. So for those who don't know me, my name is Andrea Wynn. Some of you may know me from my heroic leadership community work, but most of you probably don't know much more about me. So look, I will tell you a little about myself, but I want you to know that this is really about you and how you can unleash the power of your retirement. So I'll share a quick snapshot for now, and if you want to know more later, you can ask me. Fair enough? Okay, so my story begins in the year 2001. I was working at IBM's Toronto Software Development Lab, and on the outside, things were going well. I had a dynamic first year, and I was even nominated Rookie of the Year. But on the inside, it was a different story. On November 21st, 2001, that inner reality broke through. I returned home from a long day at work, put my dinner on to cook, and popped in a video, The Horse Whisperer, starring Robert Redford. Now, within a few minutes, things went tragically wrong in the movie. A girl riding her horse was hit by a semi-truck. The girl was rushed to hospital with serious injuries, and the next day, a group went out searching in the woods for her horse. They eventually found him standing in a stream flowing under a bridge. He was badly injured, bleeding into the stream, and deeply traumatized, to the point that they thought he should be put down. Seeing this hit me like a tidal wave. I stood up, I walked over to the TV, I clicked it off, I walked into the kitchen, just turned off the oven and the stove, and then I walked into my bedroom and I collapsed on my bed. That image of the horse was how I felt on the inside. I had been throwing my heart and soul into working for IBM, and somehow in that corporate environment, my true capabilities were not able to develop. Not to mention, I was not having much fun working myself into the ground. So this was my turning point, when I shifted out of the traditional work world. My doctor took me off work, and I propelled into a profound healing journey. I did 3 years of intensive therapy and energy healing, and I started to feel more whole. Then I was ready to bring my new healing abilities to help others. I enrolled in an MEd counseling psychology degree. And while doing my MEd, I finally watched the whole Whisperer movie. I was impressed by what the Horse Whisperer did to save the horse. This man was like a shaman healer. He was powerful, wise, and deeply compassionate. He reached the traumatized horse that others said should be shot and brought him back into being a vibrant and productive horse. I was so drawn to the Horse Whisperer that, I wanted to be like him. I wanted to be able to work that way with people. So I put that intention into my MEd studies, and I focused each class on how to develop skill to work with people who had been through emotional trauma. After graduating, I started working as a therapist, and I quickly shifted into doing therapeutic style coaching with business executives. I learned from my clients that people are afraid to face their true desires in life, and even those brave souls who peek their eyes open to glimpse their true desire, they are usually afraid to take steps to make their desire a reality. Responding to this, I honed expertise in helping people to identify their core life purpose and then take heroic steps to fulfill it. Now I am much more than a therapist. As a heroic leadership coach, I use strategic and fun methods that incorporate compassion, deep insight, artistic expression, and play to liberate people's ability to design their life with clear purpose. So now I would like to bring all of my experience into service of your journey today, specifically by breaking down some insidious myths about retirement to unleash your ability to design your awesome retirement. So the problem I see is that people are given a limited vision for retirement. They do the best they can. They listen to the media, they listen to their friends, they try to discern, signs in all of this to guide them in how to live their life. And unfortunately, many people hit old age without fulfilling their life's calling. This can lead to some of the elderly being bitter and sometimes even downright mean. Maybe you have seen this in your own parents, aunts and uncles, or your in-laws. So my mission in this masterclass is to fill that gap so you can live your purpose in style and have fun doing it. So are you ready? Okay, so with your permission, let's move into the 5 truths. So with each of these 5 truths, I will present the common myth first, and then the truth that will make all the difference to your retirement. So let's begin with myth number 1. Retirement means your contribution is complete. Now, when someone has a well-loved horse that has come of age to be retired, the owner gives it the ideal life in retirement, putting the horse out to a large green pasture to simply graze and gently live out its final days. Now, with the best of intentions, we have treated people in the same way, thinking this is the greatest gift we can give someone when they retire. But the opposite actually happens. And I know this may sound counterintuitive, so let me give you an example of what I mean. Let's say that this woman built a strong career as a leader, respected by colleagues and engaged in a number of ways, making this a better world. She retires and starts traveling the world to relax and enjoy herself in ways that she couldn't during her career. She also does what her retired friends are doing, spending afternoons curling up in her favorite living room chair, reading all the books she never could get to reading while she was working so hard during her powerful career. But in 1 to 2 years, and maybe even sooner, the honeymoon phase is going to wear off. This pasture-style retirement quickly becomes dull, boring, meaningless, and socially isolating. This way of doing retirement is all too common, and it's not her fault. She's just not aware of the truth that would make her a much more vibrant person in retirement. So here's how to shift that. Truth number 1. Retirement is a time of renewal. Yeah, how about seeing retirement as your time of renewal? Again, this may at first seem counterintuitive, so let me walk you through this so that you can see for yourself. If you think of a car whose tires are worn down, what do? Well, I can tell you what you don't do. You don't get rid of the car. No, of course not. You get a new set of tires and you retire the car. It's the same principle with people. Now, let's be honest here. You are loaded with wisdom and experience. It'd be a shame to waste all of your investment. What if, when you retire, you took the time to listen deeply for what is your true life purpose, and then designed your life to fulfill that purpose with joy? Do you see how this is very much like putting on a brand new set of tires? So, how do you reframe retirement as your time of renewal? You do it by first listening deeply and clearly to your life purpose. And then secondly, you take courageous and joyful steps to live it in real life. Let me give you a quick example so you can see how this works. Let's say that you've had a dynamic career and you're heading into retirement. Instead of putting together a piecemeal retirement lifestyle based on advice offered here and there by friends and the media, you could instead ask yourself, what's my most important gift? How can I share my gift? What is my life purpose? After some thought, Let's say that you decide your purpose is to travel the world giving motivational talks to small groups of young people about the importance of slowing down and having a more reflective approach to leadership. Hey, that's excellent. So now, instead of being a general retiree, you have graduated to the sphere of a retiree who is clear about what you are doing with your vibrant years of retirement. You have a renewed sense of purpose, and you are taking steps to pursue it in your own way and at a pace that suits your retirement lifestyle. Having a sense of clear purpose gives you a reason to get up every morning and look forward to the day with delight. It starts giving you more vitality. You are pleasantly surprised to notice a new zing in your stride, and out of the blue, people are saying things like, "Hey, what have you been up to? You seem to have so much energy." Or, "You're looking great. You've got really good color." Or maybe somebody might even say, "Have you fallen in love or something? Where is all this passion coming from?" So, do you see how powerful this is? It's a small shift that makes an enormous difference because you're positioning yourself to fulfill your life purpose in retirement at a time when you have strength, ability, and the time to act on your dreams. Do you see how doing this will open up retirement as a time of renewal? With this new purposeful focus, you take fun and fully engaged steps to design a retirement lifestyle that is about connecting with people in ways that fulfill your personal definition of fulfillment. This kind of clarity makes you stand out from the crowd, and in fact, your clarity will attract people to you. They will want to be part of what you are doing in your beautiful space of grace and ease that retirement allows for. Do you think that your enjoyment of retirement could increase by living this truth? Well, I guarantee it does, especially when you follow the other 4 truths we will be sharing. I mean, seriously, way more inspiring, right? So, after this training, I challenge you to think about how you can make the shift to creating your retirement as a time of renewal through becoming clear on your purpose. It will make a huge difference. Okay, well, let's move on to common myth number 2. Retirement is a time of decline. When people first think about retirement, they have a picture of linear decline. They think, in retirement, we simply watch our health and vitality decrease while our bodies painfully fall apart, culminating in death. Okay, I'll confess, I'm being brutal right now and rooting out this particular myth. This myth implies there is little or nothing that we can do to increase our quality of life and vitality in our retirement years. Now, when people buy into this myth, they feel powerless and they live their life aiming towards decline. It's like putting your head down and walking through a garden just looking down at the path. You miss out on the enrichment from looking around and interacting with the garden. When retirees limit themselves to this downward, narrow approach to retirement, they have a lower quality of life and statistically, they die sooner. Perhaps more tragically, they fail to fulfill their core purpose, which can lead them to feel unfulfilled and bitter in later years. In myth number 2, aging becomes all about fear. So then what's the alternative to seeing retirement as a linear decline? Let's get into truth number 2. Retirement is your golden time. You have never been wiser or more resourceful than right now. And add to that, you no longer have work responsibilities and you have time. Therefore, retirement is your golden time, your richest time. It is the time of harvest to bring home your fulfillment. Now, I know this is very basic for some of you that are more retirement savvy, and we will get into more advanced stuff in a minute. But so often, this basic understanding is lacking. So if you don't yet see the truly mind-blowing potential inherent in retirement, you want to make sure at a bare minimum to shift your perspective to this truth today. Retirement is a golden opportunity to fulfill your greatest potential, to be even more engaged with life in a way that is purposeful, where you are meaningfully making a difference. As you know from your work years, having a sense of purpose keeps your mind sharp. And knowing in your heart that you are on track in fulfilling your purpose, it automatically stirs vitality within your body so that you can live a pleasantly active and healthier retirement. We know that happiness and social connection can have positive benefits on health. And now research suggests that having a sense of purpose or direction in life may also be beneficial. To find out if having a sense of purpose has an effect on aging and adult development, Patrick Hill, an assistant professor of psychology at Carleton University in Ottawa, Canada, looked at data from the Midlife in the United States MIDAS study, which is funded by the National Institute on Aging. Now, Hill and his colleague Nicholas Taranio of the University of Rochester Medical Center, they looked to see how more than 6,000 people answered questions like, some people wander aimlessly through life, but I am not one of them, and other questions that gauged positive and negative emotions. They found that 14 years after those questions were asked, people who had reported a greater sense of purpose and direction in life were more likely to outlive their peers. In fact, people with a sense of purpose had a 15% lower risk of death, compared with those who said that they were more or less aimless. And it didn't seem to matter when people found their direction. It could be in their 20s, their 50s, or their 70s. Hill's analysis controlled for other factors known to affect longevity, things like age, gender, and emotional well-being. And you know what? A sense of purpose trumped all of that. Retirees who are taking advantage of their golden years by living with a strong sense of purpose, they tend to live longer with a higher quality experience of aging. Okay, well, let's move on to myth number 3. Retirement is the limbo between work and death. Well, in generations before us, people had a set retirement pattern. Typically, people would work for over 40 years, retire at age 65, and typically die 5 to 10 years later. Now, from this retirement pattern that was set historically, society has come to see retirement as a short limbo purgatory type experience between the best, most productive years of our lives and death. It's like it's a waiting station for death. So with this view, there is no need to give a whole lot of thought to retirement. Today's world is radically different. Advances in medical technologies mean people are living much longer with greater access to health. Retirement today is certainly not a 5 to 10 year decline. People are living longer and can easily expect their retirement years to be much more than a 5 to 10 year limbo before they die. Despite this reality, the leftover perception of retirement as a short time of limbo somehow lingers, and many people still regard retirement as a time of waiting for old age and death. Their focus tends to be on filling that time with enjoyable activities to pass the time well, often including things like travel, volunteer work, and spending more time with children and grandchildren. Now, don't get me wrong. These activities are good and very worthwhile. All I am saying is that your retirement years can include these things and be so much more than this. The result of this outdated cultural view of retirement is that many people are tragically missing an opportunity to use their vital years in retirement to identify and fulfill their true dreams. No wonder many people feel disheartened and even bitter when they arrive into their old age. Once they are, say, 80, 85, they likely don't have the health and vitality to fulfill their calling. The opportunity is missed. It can be too late to reach true fulfillment. Okay, so let's dispel that myth and state clearly. Truth number 3, retirement can be your most vital years. Think about it. You were dealing with limitations on your freedom all your life. In childhood, you were dealing with your body constantly changing, hormones, parents, school, and figuring out how to be a social being with your peers. Then, in young adulthood, you were learning how to make it on your own in the adult world. Then, you dove into your career, always pushing yourself to exceed expectations and climb the ladder to success. Corporate culture has been telling you how to behave, and you had to constantly contain your opinions and your emotions to be quote-unquote appropriate. There's a lot of pushing and boxing yourself in over the decades of your life. The truth is, you may not have experienced an authentic sense of freedom until you hit retirement. So, combining that freedom with your current state of the medical technologies, which offer you healthy years into your retirement, you can begin to see what an amazing treasure your retirement can be. So in truth number 3, we see that in fact, retirement can be your most vital years. You have freedom to do what you want and to fully express yourself, and you have health. You can work part-time if you choose to. You can volunteer, take up a new hobby, travel, do further education. Really, you could even establish a new career that you design and take at your own pace, since you are no longer driven by the forces of the corporate work world. The simple truth here is that a truly engaged retirement gives a sense of connection to others, to a cause, and to your purpose. This naturally leads to greater vitality and, yes, zest for life. Okay, myth number 4. We're making a lot of progress in dispelling these limiting myths, so let's move on to this one. That your greatest legacy that you can leave is through financial wealth. Now, typically, when people talk about leaving a legacy, something that will live on after they die, they think of financial inheritance and bequeaths. And certainly, you can have an impact on the lives of people who come after you through the money you leave to them. But it is a big mistake to think that the most important legacy you can leave is through your financial wealth. Now, let me give you a kind of weird analogy to illustrate this point. Imagine a very good young man is lost in a deep forest, a huge wilderness, with no clear path to take and no idea how to find people and civilization. He's getting desperate, because if he doesn't find a way out soon, he is going to die. He starts rummaging through his backpack to see if there's anything that can help. Down at the bottom of his bag, he finds this gold coin that his mother gave him in case he ran into trouble. Unfortunately, this coin was not any help in the middle of the forest. Money can't help you in all situations. So evening starting to creep in, and he has to face the reality. He is lost in a forest, and a gold coin is not going to help him find his way out of this life-threatening predicament. Resigning himself, he moves on deeper into the forest. Then, when he's just about to give up hope, to his amazement, he sees a sign nailed to a tree, and it says, "Lost? Go this way." And it points to the only clear-cut path in the forest. We can only imagine his relief. He follows it, and it leads to a giant stump with a clear map of the area carved into it. Now, overjoyed, he furiously copies that map onto paper. As he's doing so, he notices that the person that had carved it offers their personal guidance if needed. They live only a mile away and points him to a path that leads to their forest hut. Now, knowing that this is a matter of life and death, he decides to follow the path to the wise elder to request their personal help. He finds the hut, and the wise elder guides him out of the forest to safety in his life in the world. That young man will be forever grateful for that wise elder. Look, I realize I may have stretched this analogy a little thin here, but there is some definite wisdom in there for you. When we mentioned before about leaving a financial legacy, the mom in this story thought that the best thing that she had to give her son was a gold coin, which was great, but it really didn't help him when he was lost in the forest. There are other ways of leaving a legacy that are more powerful than money. Just like this wise elder in the forest helped the young man, she saved his life and guided him to safety. In the real world that you and I live in, a lot of young people are really lost in a forest, and they are looking for a clear path. So that brings us to truth number 4. The greatest legacy that you can leave is through sharing your true self and changing people's lives. And the simple fact is that you have a great deal of wisdom and life experience, and you can help the generations after you. My goodness, we don't have to look far to see how desperate people have become. Look at the life-altering decisions that they are making in politics and on an everyday level. Please, don't overlook all that you have to offer. You are an elder, and you possess fine, distilled wisdom. Younger people need mentoring and guidance from people exactly like you. Retirement is an opportunity to focus and discern your meaningful contribution to society and to act upon this deep knowing while you have healthy and mobile years. Through making a social legacy, you touch the lives of others, who then go on to touch the lives of others, and your contribution continues to ripple outward, touching others that you may never meet. Your contribution continues to make a difference even after you die. Okay, so here we are, myth number 5, that play in retirement looks like playing bridge or golf. Now, studies show that there are many benefits of playing for adults, which include increased creativity, productivity, and feelings of well-being. An underlying problem is, however, a lot of the time adults can't even remember what they like to do. Or maybe they've outgrown the things that they liked to do in the past, and they haven't gotten around to identifying new things that they enjoy. The sad fact is that during our career, we often become very work ethic oriented. And in that environment, many adults have largely lost touch with their inherent ability to play. When we lose the ability to generate play from within ourselves, we tend to look outside of ourselves to get ideas for what play is. What are we typically told? That retired adults play golf, bridge, or other card and board games. Yes, I said board games, and at some time, they do become boring. Although people can get authentic enjoyment from the ways that society and advertisers suggest to play, they often do not stir the imagination and unleash the vital forces within us that fully engaged play can unleash. And instead, these quote-unquote play activities can become stale over time and lead to a loss of inspiration and vitality, to a subtle state of boredom. So in truth number 5, retirement play really means defining your own fun with passion and wisdom. And you know what? It takes courage to step out of the socially defined box of what play means and define what play really is for you. Adult play is not the same as children's play. It includes passion and wisdom. Play is an enlivened and courageous state of mind that is relaxed, creative, and even often co-creative. I mean, think about a time when you were with a friend or two and you really had fun together. That is what I mean by co-creative fun. When we enter the zone of play, we get into a state that some refer to as flow. You may or may not have heard of the idea of flow, so let's make sure we're on the same page here. A simple definition for flow is the mental state of being completely present and fully immersed in an activity. It is a strong contributor to creativity. When in flow, the creator and the universe become one. Outside distractions recede from consciousness, and one's mind is fully open and attuned to the act of creating. So real play brings us into a state of flow, where we can create a beautiful retirement life that is rich with meaning and affirming relationships. I would like to share a simple example of my own when I created some adult play. I went to spend some time at the Scarborough Bluffs here in Toronto, and I went with the intention of playing. At first, I had to kind of prod myself into a playful spirit because I can tend to be rather stoic. So I picked up a skipping stone and I tried to get a good spin on it to make the stone skip across the water. And so I did this a few times, picking up one stone after the other. And with this, I began to relax and to enter the unknown, where there is more space for things just to happen. As I walked, I came upon a rabbit. So have you ever noticed that when you relax more that things like this happen? Letting down my usual defensiveness and a bit of my rigid perspective started to allow some play with what was happening. It's almost as if the universe was listening and present, and this is when I began to be more open to playing with it. And as I continued my walk, opening my heart more to the unknown and a sense of wonder and adventure, as I walked with fresh eyes and a playful heart, that is when I really got stopped. Have you ever come across a bird like this when you're out walking? I was so surprised. I was in this open space of play and flow. I mean, really, my heart was open. And when I looked down, there was this little green bird munching on a dead dandelion. Who would have thought? Now, this is a very simple example of adult play where I chose to open my heart to a sense of play and was rewarded generously, with the universe playing back. And I'm sure that you can think of times when you let down your rigidness and defenses to open the vulnerability of your heart in a relaxed flow and a playful state of mind, ready to receive whatever comes your way. It is precisely in those moments that we can receive often surprising new gifts, ideas, and experiences, right? It keeps our lives fresh, playful, and open, which is vital for fully enjoying the benefits of your golden years retirement play. So I encourage you to make it a habit to allow yourself more moments of adult play like this, whatever that may look like for you. It will brighten your days and keep you young at heart, mind and body. Engaging that sense of play is relaxing. It allows your authentic self to emerge, and you will likely find yourself designing life adventures that are delightful, surprising, and deeply fulfilling. Okay, so we've dispelled 5 myths about retirement to reveal 5 truths that show the path to a new retirement paradigm, Retirement Golden Years Legacy Play. This is a new paradigm of retirement that unleashes your ability to design your golden years in a way that fulfills your life purpose with grace, ease, and a sense of genuine fun. This may be sounding pretty good by now, and you may be starting to think, how can I do this? I will let you in on the secret. Your legacy is the key to your golden years legacy play. Knowing your true calling, your legacy with great clarity is what brings true joy to living your golden years. Many people say they aren't totally clear on what their legacy is, so I'd like to shed some light on what it takes to determine your legacy. You need to take a hero's journey. The hero's journey is a pattern of narrative identified by the American scholar Joseph Campbell that appears in drama, storytelling, myth, religious ritual, and psychological development. It describes the typical adventure of the archetype known as the hero, the person who goes out and achieves great deeds on behalf of the group, tribe, or civilization. Let's look at how this narrative pattern applies to retirement. Okay, Chapter 1, The Ordinary World. We begin with meeting the retirement hero who is feeling uneasy, uncomfortable, or unaware. The hero is shown against a background of environment, heredity, and personal history. Some kind of polarity in the hero's life is pulling in different directions and causing stress. The hero feels the pressure of needing to fulfill her or his legacy before their end of life, but not sure what that legacy is, provoking a sense of anxiety. Chapter 2, The Call to Adventure. Something shakes up the situation, either from external pressures or from something rising up from deep within, so the retirement hero must face the beginnings of change. This could be a health crisis, the death of a spouse, or even an epiphany. Chapter 3, Refusal of the Call. The retirement hero feels the fear of the unknown and tries to turn away from the adventure, however briefly. Alternately, another person in the hero's life may express the uncertainty and danger ahead and dissuade the hero from moving forward. Chapter 4, Meeting with the Mentor. The retirement hero comes across a seasoned traveler of the worlds who gives him or her training or advice that will help on the journey of how to identify their legacy. Or the hero reaches within to a source of courage and wisdom. Chapter 5, Crossing the Threshold. At the end of Act 1, the retirement hero commits to leaving the ordinary world, life as she or he has known it in the past, and enters a new region with unfamiliar rules and values. She or he accepts to find their legacy. Now, nothing of worth comes without some challenges. So we see in Chapter 6, tests, allies, and enemies. The retirement hero is tested and sorts out allegiances in the special world. And then into Chapter 7, the approach. The hero and newfound allies prepare for the major challenge in the special world, leading to Chapter 8, the ordeal. Near the middle of the story, the retirement hero enters a central space in the special world and confronts death or faces his or her greatest fear. This can literally look like facing his or her own death and facing what is needed to fulfill life before that death. The crux is that out of the moment of confronting death comes new life and new perspective. In Chapter 9, it's the reward. Then the retirement hero takes possession of the treasure of wisdom and insight about her or his legacy that was won by facing death. There may be celebration, but there is also danger of losing the treasure again. In Chapter 10, it's the road back. About 3/4 of the way through the story, the retirement hero is driven to complete the adventure, leaving the special world to be sure the treasure of knowledge is brought home. Often, there is a sense of urgency and danger of the mission at this point, and the hero is greatly aided by a wise mentor facilitating how to bring the wisdom back home. In Chapter 11, the resurrection. At the climax, the retirement hero is severely tested once more on the threshold of home. He or she is purified by a last sacrifice, another moment of death and rebirth, but on a higher and more complete level. By the hero's action, the polarities that were in conflict at the beginning are finally resolved. And then in Chapter 12, return with the elixir. The hero returns home ready to use their new wisdom treasure. That has the power to transform the world as the hero has been transformed. The retirement hero has successfully identified her or his special gifts that will be their legacy for generations to come. Now that we are familiar with the archetypal hero's journey, I'd like to invite you to take a mini hero's journey with me now in a 5-minute guided visualization. Now, guided visualizations are one of my specialties, and I would like to treat you to a short one now to help you begin your hero's journey today. So, are you up for that? Okay, great. So, let's begin with getting nice and comfortable in your chair or wherever you are right now. And feel your weight. Feel your weight as you connect with a sense of the earth beneath you. Really tune into the grounded, fertile stability of our beautiful earth and how you are connected with it through gravity and the weight of your body. Just begin to tune into that connection. And now, take a nice deep breath. And as you breathe out and as you feel ready, you can close your eyes. I will invite you to put your hands over your heart. Just put one hand on top of the other, right over that noble and loving heart of yours. Continue breathing love and relaxation into your heart. Good. You're doing great. So just continue breathing into this beautiful heart. And now I am inviting you to time travel. Imagine that it's just before the end of your life, however many years in the future, and there you are, laying peacefully on your deathbed. You have lived a deeply meaningful life where you expressed courage to live your true life purpose. You have done things that they may have scared you silly, but in your heart, you knew that you needed to do them to live your truth and benefit the cries of this world. As you are lying there, all of the people whose lives that you have positively impacted begin to gather around you. They have come to thank you for the things that you did to help them. They want to tell you about all the things you did to make this world a kinder and more caring place. What are they saying to you? Take a few moments now to listen to them. You sense that they are coming close to the end of their message to you, and you listen attentively to their final words. And as they conclude, they bow with gratitude and honor to you, and you have a grateful smile on your face for their love and acknowledgement for what you did with your life. Now those gathered, they smile back to you, and then they depart. As you feel ready, you can return to the here and the now and come back into your body. You can begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, and when you feel ready, you can open your eyes and begin to look around the room. I invite you to take a moment to silently reflect on what you heard the people say as a way for you to remember the sacred communication that has just happened. Wonderful. Well, I hope that you receive something important that you will be able to bring into your life from that mini hero's journey. And if we end up working together on creating your retirement golden years legacy play, you will have a lot more of this kind of life-affirming, guided exploration. Okay, so we've gone over a lot today in a short amount of time. And before we move into the last part of this presentation, where some of you will be able to get some extra help with all of this, and I'll also tell you how to get the slides of this presentation, I just want to give you a summary of the high-level map of what you need to do going forward to create your own retirement golden years legacy play. So number 1, retirement. Get your new tires on. Number 2, your golden time. Connect with the golden quality of this phase in your life. Number 3, these are your years of vitality. If you connect with your true life calling, you are naturally going to feel a greater sense of vitality, meaning, and purpose. Number 4, yes, you can leave a social legacy, which is about discovering your unique way of touching people's lives to leave a powerful social legacy that will continue long after you die. And number 5, play means having fun with passion and wisdom, breaking out of the box of traditional limiting definitions of adult play, like playing golf or sitting and reading, and opening your inherent ability to be creative and define your own sense of fun. So those are the 5 truths and the big picture of our retirement golden years legacy play. I hope that you have found it valuable because taken all together, they form the foundation of a radically different paradigm of retirement that is all about fulfillment, contribution, and having a lot of fun in your golden years. And this is the best way that I know to create the retirement of your dreams. So a lot of people at this stage say to themselves, wow, I can see how this paradigm would transform my retirement, but I'm just not sure how to best apply it to my unique situation. And you're right. Every person's retirement journey is different and unique and requires some finesse and variation on the theme. So if you are asking that question and would like some help, here's the next step. I have cleared my schedule this week to offer you a custom plan of action for implementing these 5 truths into your retirement based on your unique situation. I'm offering this free planning session because, first of all, it is aligned with my purpose to help as many retired leaders as I can. I choose to focus my energy on working with retired leaders for one specific reason. I see how crazy our world is getting, and I believe redefining retirement is an important piece of the solution to our society's problems. Retired leaders are rich in wisdom and experience. They have so much to offer to future generations. Retirees have gifts within them that just need a chance to be unlocked so they can make the full contribution they were born to make with grace, with ease, and with joy. By helping them fulfill their purpose, I am helping to bring greater love, kindness, and sanity to our deeply challenged world. Number 2, I enjoy these planning sessions, and I know it will genuinely help you. And then number 3, if at the end of our planning session you want help in the actual implementation of the plan, and I feel we're a good match, I may invite you to become a client, in which case I will personally guide you in taking your retirement hero's journey so that you can create the retirement of your dreams sooner than later. If you become a client, there is an investment involved, and those moving forward will feel grateful right away as you notice the shifts that begin happening as a direct result of us working together. But I want you to know that this planning session is not a sales pitch in disguise. I won't even know for sure that I can help you until we complete our planning session together. And before we go further, you need to know that I can't help everyone. I can only be of benefit to you if you have a huge desire for a fulfilling retirement. And you are an action taker committed to doing what it takes to have a retirement that you love. And you have to have a huge desire to make a difference, as well as having something truly valuable to offer. And you have to have funds available to invest in making your retirement the best years of your life. So, assuming that's you, here's what to do next. Apply for a planning session with me by simply clicking the link in the box to the right. Or in case it's not showing up for you, go to heroicleadershipcoaching.com/apply. You will see an application with a few questions about your retirement and what you're looking to accomplish, and you'll be able to schedule our call together. If we decide to work together, I will work with you one-on-one and walk you through every step of an amazing hero's journey to create your retirement golden years legacy play in the quickest time possible. If nothing else, I sincerely challenge you to take what you've learned today and apply it to your retirement right away. If you have any questions that I haven't answered here in this masterclass, feel free to reach out to me at Andrea@heroicleadershipcoaching.com. And thanks for attending. And if you want help, just fill out the short planning session application at heroicleadershipcoaching.com/apply and schedule our call together. I really look forward to connecting with you personally and getting to know you and helping you create the retirement of your dreams. If you would like a copy of the slides as promised, just send me an email requesting them to Andrea@heroicleadershipcoaching.com.